Well, I just want to say something else at this day. We are still in March 23, 2014. This is 17:10 afternoon, and I am still at my address. I never went out, not for a second. Took a shower, had a lunch with my mother, and even she is still having this. She were ill to destroy me. The element for the making the less humanity most ever subtle, manipulatively, forcefully, isolatedly, and wholly around to the making this possibly never be known about nobody but the right screen of dement, delirious, insane, and much other. While my family doesn't knows nothing but supposed demons, which never existed, but I supposed to be a very chunky dealer, thief, and robbing, and everything else, and still the more and on the generations, Sodoma Argentina needs to forging and making believe for the degenerates that knows and are so conscious officialism and the witches enterprises that passes with spiritual and emotional intelligence by witches saying, but how come? Don't you see how is this possibly to happening, and the damn sickly cheveleja snakes comes all around and suddenly makes you disappear and nobody tells anything else about you. The whole list of Arbenz known in the ISIS in New York. Every son of a shit. Rapists, pedophilics, zoophilics, rapists of whole gender, whole age, degenerates, criminals, psychopaths, forgers, liars, murderers, slaughterers, livestock human meat markers. There says, merchandisers, the bladgamel markers, markers, stamp. Zet rommel bladgamel vidas melechachat, who belongs to about they says they can. Zet rommel bladganisifel semet latikish motlenechachale teiktikin menachinov, elfot latinschkelcha. So suddenly I were here and I were ending something that by Your Honor John Saunders of the Examination Court of the Supreme Court of Justice of the U.S. with the Supreme Court of Justice of Israel as well with the International Criminal Court in New York were requesting also with the G8 and G20 I show. I cannot get out of the country because of nothing can I reach. And if I will ever see for any kind of a job, the damages will be all around for I to never get it. Except the ones that there says, oh yes, go ahead this, because of this is what we say you to have. And making the whole of the degeneration inside wherever I to go for the whole of icon places to be around this to happen. Like they says, because of the government gotta be, of course. So suddenly there happened this simple reality which I were downloading some YouTube videos, and with this, let me see if I can tell you the right name. There is this free software on the net that you can downloading over video processors, and I just got this one, which is really quite fine enough. With the International Criminal Court paying for the rights over the people, over the authors and the artists, I just simply downloaded the links and from the same YouTube some karaoke versions. I just put it all down and I just made this free make video converter software. This karaoke videos that are just translated in MP3 like to resembling at this other which calls Audacity and singing up on the instrumental version, the karaoke version, and making my singing, which I'm still about trying to taking over of the damages of the physical and emotional and medical and the chemical and the neurological damages that I received permanently all through this long time using my family, and trying to taking over the testes that still evangelic says that I cannot even think that I can sing something like Mariah Carey, Barbara Streisand, Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Michael Bolton. But what is this thinking is gonna do? Delirium all the time, of course. Stills to the guys of the armed forces, oh my god. And suddenly I were downloading this whole also from some nets around, which this is the one called Clip DJ, which there is a very interesting one. You can downloading a lot of things, and my idea were to pay for. And for the reason of this cycle that generates once, which steals me everything that ICC New York, International Criminal Court, as United Nations and the US as Israel states governments sends me, I cannot accede into nothing at all, and there says, oh, you wanna work? Go to working like board picker. Cardboard picker on the street. There are a lot of people that lives a day with that here in Argentina. With 15 pesos a day, you can eat in Argentina and having a place to living and pay your rent. 15 pesos a day, nothing else but 15 pesos a day. You can pay it all and you can live in Argentina. You have no idea. Oh, but the liars. Of course, gotta be because of we command. So suddenly I were putting down the lyrics because of sometimes I just don't memorize for the whole of the stress and the situations that we go ahead in this land. These criminals that generates lands with the pardon of the afforded victims and innocents, a lot, millions. And suddenly I just were putting in word in files, like to reminding and while I will ever singing, just reading it, like always done. So suddenly this degenerates were making all right behind me. The steals everything that we do is hugging us because of he's a psychopath he does. He gonna making to us. I will simply making what I've just done, taking on my own what I can use for my own reality, and this delirious demons pretends to building a damn false, fake, damn hell-forged shit organized in the whole of the sodomaki rapists of all gender, whole age, while goes attacking, kidnapping, destroying whatever the people saying. Because of this is what we say, you don't call us liars and criminals, and we don't do what this one is saying. He is saying what we do because of we're the government. And suddenly we find out this kind of a class of a shit so low chips cycle once, which doesn't do only to me. We're making to my whole generation, my whole friends permanently. And now we're trying to take them off of them disgusting, sodomaki, draggy, helly, shitty clouds. My guys. Because of they needs to making this whole architecture of demons and degenerates and psychopaths, forgery, lies, and the whole organizations of Cristina Kirchner and Aníbal Fernandez and all of them for the making the business of the millennium. We're going to be God. The power of my phallus, which keeps me alive and saves me, of course. Sodoma. And the reality of this all is exactly what it just happened, saying, we gotta put him in jail, but put him in jail because of Gibson stealing them. Where is this all? Have switched my whole software and system, telling that I also have my system, my laptop, and everything I do, even this video and everything that I've done from them systems that I hack and breach, which they do to me. And the idea is that they are so conscious about this and kills and destroys everybody because of they says gotta rape my mother, rape my family, take everything that they got, take all of my documents, and saying that nothing that I said to the International Criminal Court ever existed, and nothing that I shown and that I do, even this, never were true. So suddenly they needs to making making the possibility for this soul to be just like they says. And whatever I do, there is a problem. Well, my mother keeps on getting nervous and bad because of she thinks that I delay her. For anything I do, there gotta be mental illness in me. And she gets nervous and she puts work and violent because of she thinks that I gotta be in that state and she cannot control, not domain such a condition. And the idea that I to be this way, I gotta cut it, I gotta finish, I gotta stop. And let her be quiet and just being like a smooth thing all around and doing nothing and being nothing but a person which like a zombie being around and making a normal, critariously life, having a job, having friends, going some car around and making the things that screamingly, riotly or whatever there she thinks I do. I have a very voice level resonant and I am not screaming. I just have my natural voice. Even when I sing I have too much press up of voice and I have a very resonant, wide, power voice. But she thinks I scream. So suddenly, besides I am not working, whenever I do not exercise my voice, suddenly there comes more press up. But there is singing, not screaming. So suddenly, the reality of this all is exactly what we got. This cycle temp shit which keeps on destroying and attacking and ruining and kidnapping and raping and sodomizing and murdering and slaughtering and decapitating people with machetes, saying that this is what they says and there's nothing else to discuss. Of course, I gotta be doing what they says even when they are conscious. It is not because of the conscience that they goes to the raping all the people around, saying that that is them power and they are going to be masters of the universe and government of the world, that they deserve this. And of course, rapes and murder and makes the level of the human sacrificing, saying that them ethnics allows them to do and they are going to become God. And they have right to making to me and to making everybody what they do. And everything is okay. They are going to say what is the right thing to be done and what is not, and who will be alive and who's not, and so they just say whatever they want. We are going to rape and kill everybody. It's all okay. Argentina Kirchner always were an abomination, and that's the way they'll die. And the damn whole Sodoma shit of that one that pretends of president of Argentina, with each sect, because of our not any other, damn cycles, criminals sect, and the generates, they are going to know who I am so sooner. And the reality of this is exactly what we got. This cycle that generates all wants to kidnapping the rest of my friends, wants to kidnapping everybody all around, raping, murdering, robbing them everything they got, and saying we can do whatever we want of everything and everyone which is inside here belongs to us because of the president of the world given to us, and Guillermo Brain, which supports them in everything that they do, like a damn cycle demon, which it is, saying that the Lord put him to making what he does and saying what he says. Damn shit of a devil supports this all too. And who is the president of the world? Never existed, of course. In your dreams, the liars all the time. Luciano Troviano, raised in the Hall of the Children by the same Vatican, burned from a very genetic experiment, from a very clonation of a damn mummy found in Egypt, which is the 8th generation of Ramses II, the second, and about the reality of this all, which were DNA corrupted with snake and dog, saying that that will make it powerful and that will making it authority, and with whole skills as capacities to making amazing things. And this cycle them abomination, because of it's not another, but this mason shit of the whole of the world, which now are the 666, it's simply the reality of this one which already cheated the whole of Israel, were anointed at the 2 years old in the same Hebron, were making the whole of the signs like the same Revelation says, but not our man, Yeshua in law, Armageddon book, and already is making everything that were known he will do. It is the goddamn called the beast. But no, it's just a kid that's being used. This one means me from Buenos Aires manipulated it all, and we're ready for the everything and taking the powers, which is the beast, and shoots everybody with that one. Oh my god, we know this is gonna become the beast and will destroy everybody. So who's delivering about who? What is delivering? A machinery of cycles that generates all abominable pieces of shit, destroying peoples all around and genociding abominably. And I were just doing what I've done, but I provoked it, and I told them all to making this, of course, also. I am the author of this all. Piece of art of the hell, they says. And insist us in supporting this whole damn shit, saying that they are going to be redeemed. And they are going to go to the heaven to try to take the place of God. With the prostitute, whore, criminal, devil that Guillermo Brain, and Carnival, and Crudo, and Cabrera, and Anacondia, and the rest companion of them. They are going to say to God what God gotta be, and where God gotta be, and they to taking the powers and the control because of we know Lord of Lucifer, you know. And that is what we got. And suddenly they want to put me in jail, and they want to say that everything is like they says and nothing other. No other, nothing else, and nothing other. Just like this. As the wrong English, and as the right English, and as the every version that you can ever find out in the way. So suddenly this is what we got, and I am sick of this damn shit. And perhaps I'll make the unthinkable. I'm sorry. Perhaps I'll make the unthinkably. Perhaps I'll make the unthinkable. The klikimihi, there says unthinkable. Unthinkable de kimeneja. Sorry. The reality is that perhaps I'll make a disaster. And unthinkably, or unthinkably, I will produce a very situation which won't like to anybody. So further my mistakes and my moments and my blood away, this is exactly with friends and for them and for me to do something else, which nobody will like. But the reality is we should ever doing the best ever, and that's the way of mine. Shut up. This is 1728. Buenos Aires. Still me, Alejandro Mario Blanco Redemi, in my address.